from currently living in Texas, Dallas, Texas, Kansas City. Well, I should say born and raised sorta in Kansas City, Kansas, and then moved to Kansas City, Missouri, and finished the rest of the raising there. This is going to be sound narcissistic, but me. And let me just say why. Because I know who I used to be, and I've watched my progression, and I have become the woman that I hoped to be. So that's, but if you forced me to say who, another woman outside, I would have to say, our First Lady, Michelle Obama. She is the epitome of grace and just symbolizes who many of us as Black women, or women in general, really are. The style, the poise that we really always want to present in every situation, to be able to be that mom, that imperfect superwoman, I call her. I'm still a mom, and I crack the whip when necessary, but I also make sure that, I'm there and able, and sharing my energies with so many other people. So yes, I love her symbolism. Again, to be honest, I would have to say my son and my grandson. I dare not say this, but I used to think that I always favored girls because I had a daughter first. And she and I are just so close, so I thought I favor girls. And so when I got pregnant, I thought for sure I was gonna have a girl. And then I had my son. And then I had my grandson. And I realized I favor boys. I do, I favor. And they inspire me, because I realize that I've got to give them a different kind of message as a woman. I've got to allow them to be, because their mom, grandmother is a very emotional kind of optimistic person. And so I have to give them another, they keep me on my toes, having to give them another image, another perspective of what it means to be a male. Because I had no clue, my son's dad, a wonderful man. He passed, but he gave him a good perspective and definition of what it meant to be a man, at his young age. And I have had to keep that momentum and that mindset, or the message that his dad left him, constantly fresh in his mind. But when I say that I have to give them another alternative as a woman, or a way of looking at this, is even in his not being here with us anymore and his death, I still have to maintain my role as mom only, and not try to usurp the position that his dad had in his life, if that makes sense. So they keep me on my toes. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe, girlfriend. It's not that deep. Just breathe. It's not that deep. Okay. Because I know that a lot of times I was so caught up in trying to be this perfect mother, this perfect wife, this perfect girlfriend, this perfect. And I tell people now I'm a recovering perfectionist. I was so busy trying to be perfect and it was driven by my own fears, sure, that I did not really enjoy the journey. But now, having to go back and reflect on that journey, I can pick up the jewelry, the gems, the stones, the precious stones that was really there along the journey, but I never gave myself an opportunity to pick them up and to admire them, because I was so busy criticizing myself. So the message that I would give my 20-year-old self is that it's good, girl. Breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Well, people would expect me to say, well, I'm an optimist because that's supposed to be good, right? I would never admit that I'm a pessimist, but I'm not. My daughter, on the other hand, is a true pessimistic personality, and she drives me nuts. But I am just a sick, romantic, optimistic kind of person. And I am. I'm just this romantic person. I cry at movies. I see the good in everyone, which gets me in trouble sometimes, because I believe that everybody is good, and I try to connect with the good nature. And some people just, they don't want to connect with their goodness, and so I kind of get taken advantage of. But they've also taught me some very good lessons. But I've always had this pie in the sky kind of mentality. My daughter, on the other hand, was always, just excuse my language, she'd piss on your parade in a minute. And I'm like, oh, So, but I had to learn how to use her pessimism to my advantage, because one of the things I know, being the optimist, I'm always looking up. I'm always saying it's possible, it's possible, it's possible, which kind of doesn't allow me to see that there's a ditch right there and your butt's getting ready to fall in it, because I'm so busy looking up and grinning and having a good time and expecting the extreme best, and then blam, I'm in the ditch, and I'm like, snap, how'd I get here? So my daughter is the kind of person who automatically looks for the ditch. Mom, there's a ditch, there's a ditch. So now I can find, I use her as a sense of balance. So I've kind of learned how to every now and then take my heads out of the cloud long enough to look in the far distance to see if there's a something that might look like a ditch. So on the meter, if you were to put me on a meter of a scale of 1 to 10, how optimistic am I? Now I'm a little bit more mature, so I would be on the list of probably 8.5. Because like I said, I am able to look now, take my head out of the clouds sometimes, look ahead and see, well, that might look like, and at least prepare